they're adjourned on the.
It was beautiful out there though. Let's call the meeting to order.
The Monroeville Town Council met on June 5th at 7 p.m. with the following members present: Don Gerardo, Tim Berry, Chad Heffernan, Joan Boltmeyer, and Nick Stevenson. The minutes of the May 1st meeting were read. Joan made a motion to approve, seconded by Rich and passed. Don requested approval for final payout for API payout because it had to be finished by June 30th. The payout amount was for $297,341.36, and payout 5 was $38,682.36. Joan made a motion to approve, seconded by Rich. July 17th, Don meeting with New Haven and Copeland regarding fire district. Wayne asphalt payout 3 for $251,028.42 was submitted for approval. Chad made a motion. Joan seconded and passed. Fox contracting payout for $325,711.88 was submitted for approval. Rich made a motion, seconded by Joan, and passed. With nothing further to discuss, Tim made a motion to adjourn, seconded by Rich, and passed.
Any additions or corrections? Being none, we need a motion to pass the minutes as read.
I'll second it.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed likewise. Clear pass. Dan.
We have a tire trailer again in town. It's set back at the shop. Bobby, did that get on Facebook or not?
Not yet.
Okay. I wrote something up, kind of some rules that the county has for it, and added a few as well, just to keep everybody honest and dropping tires off. The Heritage Lift Station will be going in on the 22nd, which is maybe a week from Monday. It should take 3 or 4 days and they'll be out of there. The telemetry out at the industrial park, we didn't include that in the original package because we were trying to cut costs at certain spots, and we're just gonna do it after the fact. There's some funds available now that we're kind of getting to the end, and I got a quote for $8,207 from Service Electric. They're the same ones that just did all the rest of our lift stations as part of our prior sewer project.
8,207.
Yep. I also have those estimates for the sidewalk and the sewer too. Do you want me to talk about that?
Yeah, let's go ahead and talk about it.
Okay, so I forget how much money we have available, but there's some extra funds that we were given between the county and I think the CIB. Is that correct?
CIB, yeah.
There's a couple options. One was to continue. Right now, the sidewalk just runs from the drive east to Dollar General. There's no sidewalk to the west. So we got a quote, or an estimate, not a quote, an estimate from an engineer to run west and then cut down Washington Street to Barnhart. So that would tie everything in. That estimate was a total of, well, for the long section is $55,405.99, and the section going down Washington is $25,643.32.
25,006 what?
643.32.
Okay, and that's for which?
That one is just from Monroeville Road to Barnhart down Washington Street. The 55,000 is from the drive to
My God, the $55,000 one's
I
4
agree.
times 5, 6 times longer.
I agree. That's what I don't think that's a good option for us. I think we could get that done for a lot cheaper, just by hiring a concrete crew. And
Okay,
then
how much was the drainage?
the drainage, let's see here, if it so right now, there is a swale that they had to cut in after the fact because it was trapping water at, well, I can't think of their name, at the farmhouse right there, has school bus there all the time. they could follow that same swale with the pipe, and that's 65,000 to go that route. Or they can go where the swale starts, head up towards Monroeville Road, and then cut down the edge of the road to a catch basin, and that's 95,000.
Okay, and who's doing that? Is
No,
it Fox?
That Fox said they would do it as part of the project that they're already working on, using the same numbers that they were attached to on the job.
What happened is the way it broke down, the elevation is slightly higher than it's supposed to be, correct?
Correct.
So we're trapping water on the people's property right beside it. So they went out there and cut a swale in to drain it. But the problem is, whoever buys that lot is gonna have to take care of it, one way or another.
Right, whether they put a pipe in themselves or however they wanna go about it. If they can use the lot with the swale, that's fine, but if they wanna use that area as a parking lot or whatever, they would
So-
have to put drainage in anyways.
So why is it higher? Why did they put it in that way?
I have no idea.
I'm not real sure how it happened, to be honest.
I mean, I do that kind of work, and that's what I do every day, but that sounds like it's on Fox.
Well, it was,
Or was it
Fox.
on the engineers and Fox didn't catch it?
Fox
'Cause I can
raised
see
it
that
up
also.
some on their own, but not as much as it actually was above where to keep it from draining. I think if it was done per print,
It was still.
I think it was still gonna be trapped. So, I don't know on that one. Because whenever Fox asked me if they could raise it any, I said, that's fine, as long as we're not creating a problem somewhere else. And our Jim Breckler, who doesn't miss a beat on details, dug up the email where I said that. So, we were covered on it being our problem. But how you wanna pursue that is up to you guys, I don't know, but.
What do you think, Tim?
Well, when you're saying that you said that to Fox, as long as you're not creating the problem in an email,
Yes.
I mean, they haven't indicated any willingness to absorb any of that cost. I
They
guess.
did the swale and they dug the swale on them. We paid for the catch basin that they put in to catch the swale.
And that's not enough. Maybe that's the,
Well,
Well,
what it does is it makes that lot to where there's additional work that has to be done before you can actually put somebody in there.
The money to fix it, does that all have to come from us, or does that go back into the grant process?
That's already, well, it just depends how we use the money that's still available. As far as the CIB and, I don't even know what that number is. I hear numbers all day long, so.
100
I was thinking 120.
no, I think it's 180,000.
Is it?
Well,
I
we-
believe.
And we're gonna use that money for improvements, sidewalks and whatever, but, this wouldn't be an improvement. This is a screw up on their part, as far as I'm concerned.
Is this one of the lots of the industrial park?
Yes.
So whoever builds in there, that would be an idea for them to take care, have engineers do it at that time.
Well, that's neither here nor there. I just,
go back to Fox and ask them.
If you go back to anybody, you do go back to Fox as well as MLS. To see what their,
See if the print would have created a problem.
MLS is the one that drew it up.
they drew up the original prints. Now, ERI and Jim Breckler come in after the fact,
Right,
but to kind of oversee other details of the job, not to completely redesign the job.
right. Worth a shot.
well, let's see what we can work with them as far as a better number. But if if I was gonna do it, I would do the $95,000 solution and not the 65, cause the 65 puts your drain right through their lot. The 95 goes clear to the road and then goes over and hooks into the drain.
But in talking to Jim through the process, what he was kinda telling me is that if they do something there, they're gonna have to put some sort of drainage in anyways. As far as a parking lot or whatever. So the catch basin's there for them now. And if they were to, put a parking lot in there, they'd probably have to dig the swale down deeper and go that route, but he basically said more or less, no matter what they build there, they're gonna have to put some kind of drainage in for whatever they're building.
Well, that's possible.
So see,
too.
that's where I think we would have to talk it through with an engineer more on that, because if it's a waste of money to go the other route when they're gonna have to do it anyways, then we're just doing it for now, and they're gonna end up taking care of the problem later on.
Would it solve the problem if they had to put a deeper swale in and then don't need to run it to the road?
They would still have to put a catch basin at the end of the swale to catch the water that's tying into what they're putting in.
Okay.
I mean, that's not a problem we're gonna solve right here tonight. It's
Right.
that's just what we're dealing with on this. What I'm letting you know.
See, the sidewalk prices are
It's high. It's
high.
Man, I'd put them in for half that and make a lot of money.
Who gave you those?
That's Jim's estimates based on
Based on.
the project prices.
Well, we'll get a hold of Fox and talk to them.
Well, it sounds like maybe Jim.
Jim.
Jim is gonna help us understand what needs to be done on the lot.
Right,
before we
to where we actually understand exactly what we have to do.
Yeah.
Because we did have a potential buyer for that lot.
Did we already lose it?
No, well, I don't think we have. They're still interested, right?
They're still interested, yes, but as per normal, you can't say who it is.
Yeah.
But we basically are telling them they know that those lots are shovel ready, right? They don't have to do anything to build, everything should be.
Well, if they've gotta put a drainage in.
Well,
for
you're
their
gonna have to
parking lot,
put under drain in if you do a parking lot, no matter what, because
Yeah.
you've gotta catch your own water.
And they still gotta run their own water line, run their own sewer line. We have the taps there for them to tie into. But any infrastructure that just involves them, they gotta take care of. That's
Let's talk to Jim some more, and
okay.
we'll set up a four-way phone conversation or something.
Okay. Another thing I have is the New Allen Executive Director position is still ongoing. They would like to know if you guys are still interested in that, because basically Tim said if nobody's interested, then he's just not worried about it anymore. It's just been so long, but we do have, it will be housed with NERC. That has been decided, and he said it's all or nothing. If Leo decides not to do it and everybody else does, then we're done. Cause it just gets too complicated at that point. The numbers don't work. You're gonna have to go to the towns and ask for more money, and it'll just turn
Do you
into
remember what the amount was?
$34,500 3-year commitment. So $34,500 each year for 3 years.
Per year, and it's a 3-year deal.
3-year commitment.
Has anybody else answered?
Everybody but Leo, and he's waiting to hear what we decide tonight. This is not a commitment at this point. You don't need to vote on anything. It's just, if you're still interested, then if everybody's interested, then they're gonna come and talk to you, they'll come to a meeting. Talk to you more.
I think we ought to have them come to the meeting,
Okay,
don't you guys?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll just tell them we still wanna move forward with it to the next step,
Yeah,
and, okay. Were you gonna talk about the industrial park names and all that?
yeah, I got it down here.
Okay. Last thing I have is, the gas line going in out here is a nightmare, but hopefully it doesn't take real long. I mean, they're doing their due diligence and potholing every line that they can find. I'm trying to find every line that I can find of ours, which is turning into a real mess, but, they gotta make this mess to do what they're doing, so it's not fun for anybody, but
Okay.
Is that staying on one side of the road, or is it jumping back and forth?
it's staying up until about the doctor's office, from Whittern Road up until about the doctor's office, it's 6 foot off the center of the road to the north.
Okay,
That's what the white lines are,
yeah,
and then right before, there's a manhole right before, or at the doctor's office, out on the street, they're jumping over to, it looked to me about 6 foot from center the other way,
yeah.
running down until they do their tie-in at the intersection of Washington and South Street. All this is being done to get the capacity we need at the industrial park. Somehow putting a bigger line in just in that section gets them the capacity they need out there. I don't know how all that engineering works, but that's what they tell us.
That it?
Yeah, that's it.
Kevin?
Actually, Dan said something that just lit something up in my head. The lift station, the ARPA funds are still, you only have 5.5 months you have left to earmark the total funds. And I don't know how much was the lift station.
It was 80-ish, 82.
And I think the total ARPA fund was 305. Now, I don't think you have any restrictions, and Tim can correct me, because we're under 10 million. So I think you can pretty much use that on anything. So you got, a couple $100,000 to mess with, and maybe that's what you use for your different projects or whatever. But it has to be earmarked by the end of the year, and
Spent the following.
yeah, been spent by for the following year.
Okay, and what did you say, what's in it?
I think it was, Bobby, there's a line item on there, I think it's like 305, something like that, that says ARPA on your fund report, where that fund report is. No, that's the budget. I think we titled it ARPA, or it might be COVID-19, it's on, it should be on that front page of that fund report.
It was a COVID relief deal,
Yeah,
right?
exactly,
Yeah.
yeah, I think, like, again, I think it's ARPA, but.
We could use that basically for the lift station, right?
Yeah, that's,
You use
you already
it for
earmarked it for the lift station.
Yeah, but on that part of it, but you have leftover, which I think you can use it for anything, because we're under the 10 million limit.
There's $303,906.98 in there.
So you get 250,000 to mess with, so. But I just know it has to be reported in that, you'll get an email from them to do that, but otherwise, no, I didn't have anything.
Okay.
So, could you use that for, we were just talking about the swale out there to fix that deal, or not?
Yeah, you could.
We could, but what we're trying to do, okay, we could use it for that. What we're trying to do is make sure that we don't lose any money that we have coming. So we have to come up with things that tie into that project. And I mean, that would, but
We wanna use
that
up
money, we could use that money to do the concrete with and probably do it for 50% maybe.
And they even said the stretch of concrete from from Monroeville Road to Barnhart is kind of a stretch to use that CIB money for, because it's not really part of the industrial park.
Right.
Matt Bondron's the one that said that might be, we could try, but, he also said when he went to get that gap funding money, they just said, here, and we whipped it out real quick and gave it to him, so.
Okay, that it?
Did you hear anything back from insurance on those hose?
Oh, yes. I've got to call him back tomorrow, so. Yeah, he's been gone for a
Okay.
week, so, yeah, no, we're all good.
Alright,
Yeah, he can file the claim himself,
Okay.
so. Tim,
The industrial park, so we talked about the covenants, here's a couple set of proposed covenants. There are 6 pages of specific permitted uses, and so I think what we need is to determine what do we not want. I mean, we can either go the route of picking specific uses that we want to allow, or we're gonna have to go, what do we wanna prohibit? But we've gotta go one of those 2 directions, so that in our covenants, we can say, these are the type of things that are gonna be allowed to be the intended business purposes that we want to be used.
what would be easier, prohibiting?
With 6 pages worth, I think that's probably
Oh.
easier, because a lot of this is, you know, daycare, agricultural settings, a lot of this stuff, you're gonna say, sure, absolutely, that's allowed. An animal rendering plant, maybe not.
No.
Right, so it's probably gonna be easier to prohibit, because most of these are not gonna be objectionable, but, you know, shooting range, I don't know, do you wanna allow that? Do you wanna allow a gambling facility? Do you wanna allow, you know, so, you know, because it's industrial zoned, the uses are much larger, because it kind of encompasses things below that zone, so you're picking up things that would be allowed in just a general business center, or a commercial park, or an office park, those are all gonna be allowed. You know, so I think that's, you know, if you, like, this one, this draft that I'm gonna give you guys has a specific list of things that are permitted, but that was based upon another park that was here in Allen County that just wanted to have industrial uses, and so they said, here, these 8 things. You know, we talked early on, but if I remember right, the liquor store wanted to move out there. Well, I'm sure you don't wanna prohibit it, so.
Right.
So to me, I don't know that we wanna list 8 to 10 or 15 things that are allowed, and then prohibit that laundry list of uses. It seems to me we wanna go the other direction, but that's up to you guys.
Okay, how many copies you got?
I got 3, we can make more, but they're 16 pages long, so.
Oh, okay.
The other thing is, this has no owners association, so I did include that the owners of the lots would have to pay a proportionate share of the maintenance expenses, and I don't know if you wanna do that or you don't wanna do that.
That's up to them, and it's, if you guys think we should have an owners association, whatever you wanna call it, I just think it's a bad idea, because look at the Dollar General. How often do we have to get them to mow their yard? You know, and if they're in charge of it, then we're gonna be asking Zach to go down there and say, hey, tell them they gotta get their grass mowed.
Yeah,
You
and
know,
I
instead,
took that out.
we'll just take it, well, I just saying, but I kinda said that one in that meeting that one time, but it's.
And this version doesn't have any owners association, but it still says if I own a lot out there, I have to pay a proportionate share of like whatever expenses we wanna charge them for maintaining the pond, the streets, the common area,
I
the
think that's a
sign.
great idea, but then we still maintain it, that way we have the
You
control
maintain
over
it,
keeping
that's
it
what I-
nice.
Right.
Because those ponds turn into messes if you don't take care of them. So I wanna make sure it's taken care of and looking nice.
And it still has I still left in an architectural review committee too, which can be a couple of you and maybe Dan. So if somebody wants to build, they have to first submit their plans, so that you don't end up with a building out there that you never wanted. You know, some giant pink building, I don't know, whatever you wanna
Do we have any height restriction ordinances in town?
Yeah, we do now. So a lot of that is gonna be covered, you know, the setbacks, the building lines, all of that's already covered by this ordinance that we started in 2021.
Okay,
So that's covered, but the uses is what we can
gotcha.
do whatever we want. So, nothing to decide, but
Okay. Is that it?
yeah, can you make a copy of these?
Yeah.
It's just 3 pages, but it's both sides. I don't know, do you have one of these books? Does everybody?
Yeah.
So, you know, just-
Somewhere on the shelf.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say, so it's the industrial zoning tab has all of those.
The problem always is finding the right one.
Trey, do you need? How many do you want?
Oh, enough for everybody to have a copy.
That's it, that's all I had.
Copy.
I have 2 pay apps for approval. One is for Wayne Asphalt. This is pay app 4, and the amount owed is $169,125.30. And then the other one is for Fox Contracting, is pay app 8, and the amount owed is $21,844.90.
Okay, I need a motion to pay, okay, let's do the first one. Okay, the 169.25. Got a motion, do we have a second? Second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed likewise. Okay, the $21,844.97. Need a motion to pay.
I'll make it.
Have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed likewise. Pass.
And then the grant agreement, so I can get that to Dan, once he's starting to get that process going,
Oh,
to
man.
get more grant funds, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, basically, we need to make a motion to accept the grant agreement so that it can be signed. Motion, do we have a second? We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed likewise.
And that is all I have.
Tim and I has talked about the park board, and we can add one person at the present time. It has to be an equally divided board between Republicans and Democrats. And I guess my question is, we talked about making it a 6-person board if that's possible.
That statute, the statute that Matt says, basically says that you can add 1 or 2 members, but the only members you can add have to be a member of the local school board
well, I'm still on there, and I'm wondering if I should not be on there, because I'm the town council.
No, that's fine.
That didn't work out very good.
So you're saying we can't add somebody to the park
We
board,
can add one person,
but they have to be,
they have to be registered as a Republican.
I understand that, but
So it says, here's the two, it says we can have one or two additional members, but it has to be a member of the governing body of the school corporation, serving ex officio, selected by the school corporation, or an individual who resides in the district, selected by the school corporation.
that's
They
on
don't have to
top
be
of
on
the
board.
board?
In addition to the
In
one,
addition
If
to
we,
the board?
if in addition
Okay.
to the four.
Okay.
if we wanted to add.
Or, I don't even know that we have this, it says a member of the governing body of the library district. I don't even know what that is. Do we have one? Our library is Allen County, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, yeah, we have to let the school corporation take one of the members. Which I guess you could, do some lobbying and get them to pick the person you want them to. Otherwise, it has to be 4 people chosen by you. An equal number from each political party.
Yeah, see, Katie Huffman would be removed,
Right.
and we could add one more, and she was a Republican. But did Alicia want it, or did Jared want it?
I think they were both, I think they're both just trying to volunteer and help do stuff. I didn't realize there was all this red tape.
Oh, yeah, no, there's a whole bunch of, we were talking, Tim and I was talking about it, and I said, here's the problem. I know that there's some really crazy rules involved in this.
Cause I said, why
Yeah,
don't we have
yeah.
equal number on the political party? He said, I think we have to have that, and then we talked to Matt, and I said, yeah.
Yeah, Matt said, do not make it to where it's not politically,
Matt Bonder knew all that?
He had the statute.
He knows about everything.
I know, he sent us the statute in about 2 minutes.
So is it 2 and 2 now?
that would make it 2 and 2, and I don't know, I mean, if she wants to be appointed and him help her, or if he wants to be appointed,
Right.
And we need to vote, right?
right.
So can we just vote that we're going to put one or the other of them, depending on whoever wants it? So it's
It's up
just,
to you, it's just a
Yeah.
vote of the board.
Okay, I'm fine with that.
yeah,
I'll talk to him, I'll see him at breakfast or
I
something.
believe they are registered Republicans, right? I think they both are.
I guess.
So if I was to resign, it wouldn't, still would help.
No, it won't make any difference.
So,
If I resign, you can't find another Democrat anyway,
you're still,
unless you want to.
no thanks.
Well, 10 years ago, when Warren had a stroke, Warren Flethrow, I said I'd take care of the pavilion rental until he came back. Well, I'm pretty sure he's not coming back. So, after 10 years, I'd like to see somebody else do that too.
I think when you were talking to him last month, he said that he would do that. If I remember right.
Okay, let's, let's do it in the form of a motion that we will appoint either one, and I will talk to him and her both and see which one really wants to do it, because of the fact, the way it's set up through the state, it really makes it difficult. Now, you could have an ex officio, correct?
Yep.
But they have no voting.
Right, so
These are copies.
Yeah.
So you want us to do our homework here?
Yep.
Okay, so you have that as a motion, so I'll make that motion.
What's that?
What did we zone that?
We have a
We
motion.
have a motion, we need a second.
I think it was I too.
I do too.
Do we have a second?
Yes.
Okay, all those in signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed likewise. Street names, industrial park name.
I have a suggestion.
Myself, I'd probably just go, but now here's, what was the whole deal, Dan? We've gotta get it approved through the county, correct?
I don't think the name of the industrial park is quite as important, but the street names, now in Allen County, you cannot duplicate a street name that's not already duplicated. So you really have to submit the names to the county somehow or another, and they have to approve it after they look through and make sure it's not already out there on the street names. But on the industrial park, I don't think that's as big of a deal. But I mean, if you call it the Monroeville Industrial Park, I'm pretty sure there's not gonna be another one in Allen County.
Be simple,
Yeah.
simple.
But with the,
Give it another name and say, well, where's
Does
that?
anybody have suggestions on street names? Rich sent me some.
I was thinking that if you could run a contest with the citizens to turn in street names and give you the suggestions that way, make a big deal about it for
One
the
of them was
citizens.
Patriot Way,
Oh my gosh,
and
this
the
is
other
just what I
one
was gonna suggest.
was Freedom Boulevard.
this is something that has to
I
be
like
done
both of
quick,
those.
so I don't think we'd be able to do that.
Yeah, and when they say the park name, I was kinda keeping with the heritage thing.
Yeah.
The longer one, Freedom Boulevard, and the short one, Patriot Way, and called Monroeville Independence Park.
Now, I think as part of the duplicating the names, like Patriot Way is different than Patriot Avenue, right?
Right.
Patriot
Right.
Boulevard, Patriot Lane, Patriot Road,
Right.
whatever.
I like
So-
that, Rich,
Yeah, they're all.
especially since Patriot Way was in my head when he
Yeah,
said
cool.
names.
Yeah, I mean, in the city of Fort Wayne, there's several duplicated street names, but they're not all streets, or street or avenue or boulevard or way or something. There's several of them that are
But I think it'd be a
5 or
good
6
idea
different ones.
to come up with more than just 2 names, cause there's 2 streets, so if, you know,
Why don't everybody figure out some names and I will find out what's available. Just send me 2 street names.
Don't we have a deadline?
yeah, so for the sign for the industrial park, we have to submit an RFP, which needs to have the name of the industrial park in it. I don't know if it needs the street names, but it needs the name of the industrial park. So you guys can either decide on that tonight, or you could vote to give somebody the permission to sign off on it whenever you do decide. So it doesn't have to go to the next town board meeting. Because the sign is part of the thing, one of the things that this money's gonna go towards.
Yeah.
So I'm
I
kinda
mean,
wondering on this
fine
one
with
too, cause the way this
Monroeville
process
Industrial
works.
Park. I don't really, it doesn't matter to me.
Don't confuse Independence, that's one of the street names. Yeah, I'm okay. I like that.
Is
But
that-
I'm okay with just staying simple and easy.
It might, but if you.
Yeah.
That's what's on there.
Yeah, just text me some names for streets and I will get a hold of the right person up there and see what's actually available. And then I'll text you back and,
I'm
We'll
pretty
do
sure
it
there's
that way.
another Don Gerardo Street,
yeah, well, there should be at least 4 or 5.
or Dan Reinhardt Street.
There's an Independence Drive.
Sorry, but there isn't very.
Yeah, there's.
Okay. The telemetry was $8,207, correct?
Correct.
Okay, I wanna make a motion that we go ahead and or I need somebody to make a motion that we go ahead and get the telemetry with the park. 8207.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, we have a motion, do we have a second?
Yeah,
Have a motion and a second, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye, opposed likewise, clear pass. Joan. Rich.
I only got one thing, and, it's a donation of $100 to the park, which is no big deal. But, there's a letter with it, and I thought, it's kinda nice to get good news once in a while. It says, "Dear Park Board members, we're enclosing a check to be used for supplies, et cetera, whatever's needed for the park. All these years, we have enjoyed the use of the park, biking and walking on the new trails, et cetera. What an asset to the community. Flowers in the urns are pretty, and nice theater there also, many activities. Time has come for us to move to a place that is easier for us. We can't take care of our property anymore. We're moving in the middle of July to Woodcrest and Decatur, where things will be taken care of for us. This is a big change in our lives, and we'll miss Monroeville and seeing all the people. However, we will be back from time to time and may get to see some friends. Bless you all for keeping our park in great condition. P.S. What a nice splash pad for the kids also. Sincerely, Dwayne and Rosemary David. You know, they're in their 90s and they're moving into like an assisted living and things, but, so, good news, for once, instead of telling us how bad everything is.
Yep,
But,
that it?
yeah, that's all.
Chad, okay. Motion to adjourn.
I'll second that.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.